Welcome to the Book of Botch. Today I'm going to look at trying to fix a dead lawnmower battery. I think the plates have all sulfated up. So I've seen this done on the internet, thought I'd try it. So this is the battery, fine quality item. It's basically refusing to charge. Current voltage is 6.5 volts. It's not going to start anything. So I'm going to fill it with distilled water. So you can get, this is a cup of distilled water. You can get it either from rain, if you put a pan somewhere clean where it won't get splashes in it, or you can, this just came out of a dehumidifier. So I'm going to top up the cells with distilled water, and then I'm going to try and overcharge it with overcurrent. So these little things are a bit of a pain to remove, and the top's all covered with crap. So let's try and make it a bit cleaner so we don't get crud in the cells. Okay. So these things are a pain. Okay, these things pull out. I'm going to try and not get muck in the cells. So it's only well, I think the battery might want to be topped up to here, so I'm going to try pouring distilled water in, see what happens. I think that's better than it was. So looks, I think that looks okay for level. The next thing you do is the internet seems to think that you want to boil this thing, so you put the negative to the negative terminal and the positive to the positive terminal, and then you just ramp up the volts. That's okay, so that's at 15 volts and it's not producing any current. I think the reason for that is that the battery's sulfated, so there's no sulfuric acid left in the electrolyte. It's all reacted with the lead plates. So in order to fix that, the internet seems to think that you can just whack in a few more volts and see what happens. So hopefully the current starts to come up, and then the battery should heat up. Yeah, well, that's not very interesting. So I'm going to try reversing the terminals. So I'll put the negative on that side, positive on that side. Okay, I'm sure this isn't very good for the battery, but I'm not going to hang around. Well, it does nothing. Don't know if you can hear that, but it's starting to make slightly fizzy noises, which I take to be a good thing, maybe. So that's currently, I suppose, forcibly discharging at 10 amps. So the battery chemistry, according to Wikipedia, when it's fully discharged, positive and negative plates are both coated in lead sulfate. It's the act of charging that causes one to turn to lead oxide and the other to turn to lead. Okay, so that's maybe done something. I'm going to try swapping the terminals round again. Okay, that looks a bit happier. That's got a couple of amps. What I want to see is the amps come up as you get more sulfuric acid into the electrolyte, and as the thing warms up, it should help to break up the lead sulfate on the surface of the plates, and hopefully it should fix the battery. I think I'm going to reverse the terminals again. It's not giving me a huge amount of action here. So this is forcibly discharging it. Yeah, you get a much better discharge current now. So that's up at 15 amps. You can definitely hear that fizzing. It's got to be doing some good, right? You don't want to discharge it too much because you'll end up changing the polarity of the battery. But with a discharge current of 10 amps, there's got to be some kind of residual charge, sort of, I suppose, kicking around. It's still stone cold. On the internet they did this with an arc welder and it seemed to boil the battery. But yeah, I don't want to destroy the plates. Okay, I'm going to swap the electrodes back round. Okay, so the current's come up quite a bit. It's now sitting at 7 amps. Okay, that's not hugely exciting, so I'm going to leave it charging like that for a bit, and we'll see what happens. It's been going for another 10 minutes. The battery's starting to warm up, which I think is a good thing. I think you're meant to kind of boil it till steam comes out of the holes, and the current's picked up as well, which I think that means there's more concentration of sulfuric acid in the electrolyte. So I think this is helping. I'm going to charge it for a bit, and then I'm going to going to do a quick load test on it to see if it produces any amps. So we can measure the voltage. It started at about 6 volts, and okay, up to 12. That's like where it would be if it was just a normal discharge battery. So it needs quite a bit more charging. There. Okay, that's I think that's a good sign. I'm just going to leave it for like half an hour. So I think it's probably 12 amp hour battery, something like that. So it would need to be charging at 12 amps for an hour for it to be fully charged. So I'm just going to leave it for an hour, see what happens. I don't have a proper power test, so I've got a piece of nichrome wire. See if that does anything. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. I don't know how many amps that is to go white hot, but that looked promising. So I think another couple of goes, so very short forced discharge and then slow trickle charge. Probably bring this battery back to life. At least, enough to run a ride-on lawnmower.